a great game gonna happen tonight. It's the Hawks and the Racers. Dunbar looks strong here this season, looking to keep going here from Evansville. Centerton, Evansville coming up next. And we welcome you back to the Nova Rain Center. Just like earlier this afternoon, we saw the Solar Flares and the Huskies take action, and now it's the Hawks and the Racers. It's game 2 of the day of the Evansville doubleheader. Let's meet the lineups for the Racers. They have Cooper Dunbar, Nash Sigmund, Landon Lampley, Levi Welty, and Jonathan Stevenson. And for the Hawks, they have Wolfley, Moeller, Trenton Wolfley, Rohan Pearson, and Trey Harper. And here we go from Evansville. We are underway. Centerton has a ball. Don't be deceived. Yes, it has the Evansville Huskies logo, and it says Evansville Huskies, but it is actually the Hawks that are the home team. Welty to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar for 3. Big three-pointer by Dunbar. Wolfley back to Harper. Harper back to Moeller. Harper didn't. Here's Moeller back to Pearson. To Wolfley. Gavin Wolfley ties it up. Tied up at 3. Here's Sigmund. Sigmund has the ball. Sigmund to Lampley. Landon Lampley for 2. And the Racers up by 2. Here's Gavin Wolfley. Wolfley has the ball. He looks. Back to Pearson. Rohan Pearson missing the 2. Sigmund with the rebound. Now here's Nash Sigmund. Pass to Dunbar. Dunbar has it. Dunbar looks. Here's Dunbar. He looks past the Lampley. Lampley to Sigmund. Here's Nash Sigmund to Welty. Welty back to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar missing the 3, but Stevenson slams it in. Stevenson with the slam. Now here's Micah Moeller. Moeller with the ball. Back to Pearson, now to Wolfley. Here's Gavin Wolfley. Back to Pearson. Pearson has it. Back to Moeller. Micah Moeller to Pearson. Now here's Moeller, now Pearson, now Wolfley. Trenton Wolfley for 3. The Hawks are playing better tonight than they have the first 2 games against the Racers. Dunbar back to Lampley. Here's Lampley. Lampley to Dunbar. Dunbar missing the 2. Pearson rebound, covered by Welty. Here's Pearson back to Wolfley. Wolfley to Moeller. Micah Moeller misses the 3. They tried to get the lead, but now here's Dunbar. Dunbar to Sigmund. Sigmund for 2. Centerton pulls away. Here's Micah Moeller. Moeller has it. Back to Pearson. Rohan Pearson for 3. We are tied up at 9. Tie game again. Now here's Cooper Dunbar. Dunbar has the ball. Wolfley covers. Here's Dunbar. Dunbar there to Stevenson. Stevenson misses the 3. We had our first look at Stevenson trying to shoot a 3 tonight. Moeller back to Pearson. Pearson to Wolfley. Wolfley looks, turns, goes up for 2. Can't make it. Stevenson rebound. Here's Stevenson. Stevenson to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar has the ball. Pass to Stevenson. Stevenson goes up, and he's gonna miss the 2. Pearson with the rebound. Now it's Trey Harper. Harper with it. He's gonna score. Evansville has the lead here at home. Sigmund Their timeout racers. The Evansville Hawks here at the Nova Rain Center have the lead. Back live from the Nova Rain Center. The league leaders in rebounds per game in the playoffs, Trey Shelsky leads it over Harvey Delk. Man, oh man. We saw a dominating performance by the Huskies earlier this afternoon at home against the Solar Flares. And now we see the Hawks on the same court that the Huskies played on. Jackson Gordon for three. This game has a possibility of having a ton of three-pointers. Here's Gavin Wolfley. Wolfley to Trenton Wolfley. Wolfley has the ball. Trenton Wolfley. There, now it's Drew Dalton for two. Stevenson back to Crum. Here's Carter Crum with it. Crum back to Stevenson. Stevenson to Sigmund. Sigmund there. Back to Stevenson. Now here's Laneplay. Back to Sigmund. Sigmund there. Now it's Crum back to Gordon. Jackson Gordon will miss the three. Dalton there. Now here's Wolfley. Wolfley to Pearson. Rohan Pearson has the ball. Pearson there. Now it's Drew Dalton. Dalton to Wolfley. Gavin Wolfley. There. Now here's Gardner. Grady Gardner missing the three. Lanepley has it now. Lanepley back to Crum. Crum has it. Carter Crum looks. Back to Stevenson. Stevenson goes up. Missing the two. It's Pearson with the rebound. Now here's Trenton Wolfley. Back to Gavin. Wolfley has it. It's Gavin Wolfley with it. Back to Trenton. Trenton Wolfley misses the three. And after the first quarter, things are different here tonight. Not only is the stadium different, the score is different. The Hawks lead the Racers after the first quarter. Here from the Nova Rain Center. And we welcome you back here to Evansville. Here's Baker. Back to Harper. Harper to Minette. Here is Minette. Jenna Minette there. Blocked. The shot is blocked by Garrett Irwin. Now here's Jackson Gordon. Jackson Gordon has the ball. Pass to Crum. Carter Crum looks. Carter Crum for two. And now here we go. 14-13 now. Racers have the lead. Here's Ty Benton. Back to Davis Baker. Baker has it. He looks. Crum covering. Now it's Jetta Minette. Minette there. Minette getting covered by Irwin. It's Garrett Irwin covering Minette. That Grant Irwin out there too. Minette there. Now it's Baker. Davis Baker will miss the three. Garrett Irwin with the rebound. Back to Gordon. Now here's Carter Crum. Crum with the ball. Now it's Gordon. Jackson Gordon with it. Gordon, passer Irwin. Dre Irwin looks inside. He will score off the backboard. Make it 16-13, a three-point game now for the Racers. Timeout, Evansville. The Hawks will call a timeout. Now we welcome you back to Evansville, the home of the Huskies. Actually, tonight, and for game number 4, it will be the home of the Hawks as well. The Hawks have the ball. Now here's Minette. Jetta Minette out there. Minette pass to Pearson. Pearson almost loses it. Pearson will miss. It struggled to go down. Here's Lampley. Landon Lampley for 2. And the Racers are starting to pull away. This Centerton team cannot be stopped. Pearson to Gardner, back to Pearson. Back to Gardner, now it's Moeller. Micah Moeller with it. Moeller has it. Moeller looks, I think it was tipped by Lampley as the ball was going up as well. Here's Dunbar. Dunbar looks. He's been good all season long. Dunbar has the ball. Listen to the Evansville crowd. Dunbar there. Here's Dunbar. There, Lampley to Gordon. Jackson Gordon misses the 3. Harper with the rebound. Now here's Pearson. Rohan Pearson for 2. We covered this story before. We are going to cover it again. The Racers and the Solar Flares had a combined practice. Grant Irwin with the slam. Yeah, you heard me right. The Racers and the Solar Flares had a combined practice to make sure that the Lampley brothers got to be on the same court together one last time this season. Minette back to Pearson. Pearson misses the 3, and they will be doing it before game 4 as well. Gordon back to Dunbar. Here's Dunbar. Dunbar there. Looks for 2. Gardner now gives it to Minette. Minette back to Pearson. Pearson to Minette. Back to Gardner, back to Minette. Jetta Minette to Moeller. Moeller looks. Micah Moeller missing the 2. Gordon with the rebound. Here's Jackson Gordon with it. Jackson Gordon misses the 2. Trey Harper rebound. Harper back to Minette. Minette. Pearson. Pearson for 2. Now here's Dunbar. Dunbar has the ball. Timeout Centerton. The Racers call a timeout. Back live from the Nova Rain Center, the home of the Huskies, and now the Hawks. Here we go. The Hawks did put out a statement before, right as they went into halftime, that their stadium will be torn down and they will share a that their stadium is not being torn down, but they will share a stadium up until next season.
Substitution on the court.
Now, Jonathan Stevenson, the field goal percentage, leads the league in it. Now, here we go. Stevenson will have the ball here for the Racers. Stevenson gives it to Lampley, and we are back underway. Lampley to Gordon. Back to Crum. Carter Crum to Dunbar. Gilbert Dunbar missing the 2. Here's Minette. Pass to Moeller. Micah Moeller missing the 3. Lampley rebound. Lane play to Gordon. Gordon to Dunbar. Here's Cooper Dunbar. With it, he will miss. Minette there, back to Gardner. Gardner, now here's Muller. Micah Muller with it. Now here's Pearson. Pearson for 3. Dunbar, back to Stevenson. Stevenson with the slam. The Racers are outstanding here tonight. They might be a team that may be able to beat Carmel. Here's Pearson with it. Pearson. Here's Minette. Back to Muller. Now it's Gavin Wolfway. Wolfway with it. Wolfway looks for 2. Will miss. Crum with the rebound. Crum to Lampley. Landon Lampley has it, and he's going to miss. But he gets his own rebound. Here's Jackson Gordon. Jackson Gordon misses the 3. Stevenson rebound, and he will put it in himself. 2 offensive rebounds for the Racers. Wolfley from the logo can't make the shot. 26-20 here from Evansville. The Racers have the lead going to halftime. It's the Nova Rain halftime show. Here we go. Take a look at the bracket behind us. And now, look at this game. We have seen a great offensive performance by the Racers. Actually, by both teams here tonight. But the Racers have looked outstanding. Now, the bracket behind us. Take a look at the Huskies. The Huskies up 3-0 after demolishing Orange Beach in Game 3. And Game 3 of this game is really, really fun. We saw Plainfield struggle against Carmel up until the second half. Plainfield was able to fight back just a little bit, but still lose to the Roundabouts. Now this game here from the Nova Rain Center, the home of the Huskies, Dunbar and Pearson are the top performers. Pearson is going off tonight for the Hawks. We welcome you back to Evansville. The Hawks are down by 6 to the Racers. Centerton has looked really, really good. Here's Rohan Pearson. A great first half for that guy. Pearson looked really good. And now, to start the second half, here we go. Evansville will have the ball. If you're now joining us, if you're wondering, yes, this is the Husky court. This is the Nova Rain Center, the home of the Huskies. But the Hawks are now playing at home here for the series. Gavin Wolfway for 3. 3-point game. This is a lot tighter of a game than it has been for this series. Here's Nash Sigmund. Sigmund to Welty. Welty with the slam. Welty had an open lane, and he slams it in. Good news is, it's only going to be him on a poster. Harper to Wolfley. Now it's Trenton Wolfley with it. Wolfley from the pass from his brother. Wolfley. Trenton Wolfley. Misses the 3. Welty rebound. Big pass to Lampley. Landon Lampley for 2.
Assistant, number 15.
16 rebounds for the Racers. Here's Gavin Wolfley back to Harper. Harper to Muller. Here's Micah Muller with it. Muller has the ball. Muller goes for 2. 30-25. Here's Dunbar back to Lampley. Lampley has the ball now. Lampley to Dunbar. Dunbar has it. Stolen by Wolfway. Wolfway to Harper. Trey Harper with a slam. The long siren is going off for the Huskies. For the Hawks. Here's Weldy. Weldy back to Dunbar. 3-point game. Cooper Dunbar missing the three. Evansville has a chance to tie back up. Pearson gives it back to Wolfley. Wolfley to Wolfley. It's Trenton Wolfley. Back to Muller. Micah Muller has the ball. Gavin Wolfley missing the three. Sigmund rebound. Here's Landon Lampley back to Dunbar. Dunbar has the ball. Now here's Sigmund. Sigmund passes Stevenson. Stevenson almost loses it. Here's Lampley. Now here we go. Sigmund has it. Now here's Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar for three. And that guy can shoot. Wolfley now has the ball. Wolfley keeps it himself. Looks. Back to Pearson. Now it's Micah Muller. Here's Muller. Keeps it himself for two. He will drain it. Weldy back to Dunbar. Here's Cooper Dunbar with it. Dunbar back to Sigmund. Sigmund now with it. Back to Stevenson. Stevenson goes up and will score. Make it 35-29. Micah Muller with the ball now. Muller. Micah Muller for two. 35-31, 4-point lead. The Huskies beat Orange Beach earlier today. And the slam is no good by Weldy. And it is back to Evansville. Here's Wolfley. Wolfley back to Muller. Micah Muller has the ball. And he's going to miss a three. Rebounded by Welty. Lampley. Now here's Sigmund. Sigmund now has it. Pass back to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar to Weldy. Levi Weldy for three. Timeout Evansville. We are back here from Evansville. We know for a fact that the Orange Beach Solar Flares are still in the building. They are not in their locker room anymore. They are in the club suites on the visitor side. But the Husky fans, the Huskies are back in their normal clothes, and they are all in the stands cheering on the Hawks. A lot of them are good friends. Here's Wolfley. Gavin Wolfley back to Harper. Harper to Minette. Jenna Minette for three. Big time three for the Hawks. Now here's Carter Crum. Crum has it. It's like I said. These teams are really good, but it's like I said too. Hang on. Levi Weldy will get a three. That's like I said about Orange Beach. The Solar Flares are in the club suites. Kenneth Lampley is here with his family, sitting with them in the main stands, and the three-pointer is good. I think that was Gavin Wolfwood. The three-pointer is good for the Hawks. Now, here is Irwin. Garrett Irwin gives it back to Jackson Gordon. Gordon has it. Jackson Gordon misses the three, sees a rebound. Here's Grady Gardner. Gardner gives it to Minette. Here's Jetta Minette with it. Minette has it, keeps it himself, covered by Gordon. Back to Gardner. Grady Gardner missing the three, and at the end of this third quarter, 41-37, the Racers have the lead. But it's like I said, Landon Lampley and Landon Lampley's family is all here tonight, watching him and the Racers go at it. We are back from Evansville, the home of the Huskies and now the Hawks for the playoffs. Let's take a look at the assists of the game. The dunk by Grant Irwin and the assist from Cooper Dunbar. Dunbar has the ball here for the Racers. Grant Irwin is out there. Cooper Dunbar for three. Dunbar hasn't been active that much tonight, but he's been really good though. Here's Micah Moeller. Moeller has the ball. Moeller for two. Kenneth Lampley and his family watching his brother. Honestly, that's shocking though, that we usually don't see members of other teams watch these games, but now they can. Dre Irwin for two. I say that because remember, this is the Huskies' home arena, the Nova Rain Center, but the Hawks are just borrowing it for this series. Moeller with the slam, holy crap! What a dunk by Micah Moeller. I don't know who that was for the Racers, but he's now on a poster, and it's going to be turned into a meme. Carter Crum will miss the three. Here's Gardner. Grady Gardner back to Micah Moeller. Moeller has the ball. Moeller now to Minette. Jetta Minette with it. Minette to Pearson. Pearson misses the three. Carter Crum now with it. Here's Lampley. Back to Dunbar. Here's Cooper Dunbar. Pass now. Here we go. It's Dunbar winding it up again. Dunbar and the slam again by Grant Irwin. Just like early in the game, Dunbar with the assist. Grant Irwin slams it in. Timeout Evansville. The Hawks have 3 timeouts left, and they are down by 7. All I have to say, this is a better game for the Evansville Hawks against the Centerton Racers. But the Racers are still playing really, really good. Back live once again from the Nova Rain Center. Looks like that Stevenson is coming out on the court for the Racers. I know for a fact that Racer fans was not excited to see that they had to come to the Nova Rain Center to watch their team play. Ball play back to Gardner. Gardner with the ball. Back to Moeller. Moeller to Wolfley. Trenton Wolfley with it. Wolfley there. Back to Wolfley. Gavin Wolfley for three. Nice three-pointer by Wolfley. 48-44, 4-point game. Gordon has the ball. Back to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar makes another three. He just hit another three-pointer. He can shoot it really well. Now here's Trenton Wolfley. Trenton Wolfley has the ball. Back to Gavin Wolfley. Wolfley will miss. Dunbar with the rebound. Now here's Stevenson. Stevenson has it. Back to Gordon. Jackson Gordon will miss the three. Wolfley rebound. Wolfley. Back to Wolfley. Here's Trenton Wolfley. Trenton will miss the two. Gordon rebound. Now here's Dunbar. Dunbar back to Gordon. Here's Weldy again. Weldy back to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar for 3. 10-point lead. Here's Gavin Wolfley. Timeout, Evansville. 1 timeout left. And we welcome you back to Evansville. Ray Green there for the Racers. Will we ever see him play? That's the question. Maybe next season. Maybe next season he can go off to another team and play and maybe start if he can get better. Here we go. Back from Evansville. Trenton Wolfley has the ball. Wolfley back to Wolfley. Here is Gavin Wolfley with it. Gavin Wolfley for 2. 54-46. Here's Cooper Dunbar. Dunbar has the ball. Dunbar looks. Dunbar covered by Wolfley. Cooper Dunbar missing the 2. Wolfley rebound. Now here's Trenton Wolfley. Trenton Wolfley keeps it himself. Back to Gavin. Gavin Wolfley. Oh, and he will miss the 3 again. Weldy rebound. Now it's Sigmund with the ball. Sigmund to Laneplay. Now it's Dunbar. Dunbar looks. Now to Weldy. Now it's Sigmund again. Sigmund to Laneplay. Landon Laneplay to Dunbar. Cooper Dunbar inside the paint. Off the backboard. In for 2. 10-point lead. Now here's Gavin Wolfley. Wolfley with the ball. Covered by Dunbar. Now here's Pearson. Pearson to Wolfley. Gavin Wolfley. Missing the 3. Weldy. Rebound quickly gives it to Dunbar. Dunbar to Sigmund. Here's Nash. Sigmund with it. Pass to Dunbar. Dunbar covered by Wolfley. Dunbar for 2. And the second half has been all Cooper Dunbar for the Racers. The Racers have pulled away in the fourth quarter. Gavin Wolfley for 2. 10-point lead for Centerton. But it's been a close game up to this point. A close game up till the fourth quarter. And that's when Centerton broke out their offense. Here is Stevenson. Stevenson looks. Pass to Sigmund. Now it's Dunbar. Dunbar missing the 3. Out of bounds. It will be Evansville basketball. And looks like we have the backups coming in to the game for the Racers. Crum, Gordon, both Irwins, and others. Here is Jetta Minette. Minette to Dalton. Now it's Caesar. Ezra Caesar misses the 3. Irwin back to Gordon. And the Racers come into Evansville and take game 3. The Racers 1 game away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals. This Centerton team is for real. Can they make the finals if they make it out of this Eastern Conference? That's a good question. They have a good chance of it. Can we see a finals game between Cap Ellett and Jonathan Stevenson. That would be fun. Thanks for watching, folks. Cooper Dunbar is the player of the game.